Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello!
And today we're talking about volume 13 of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sukuna's back.
Sukuna
He's back.
He is indeed back. This is very fun, very exciting.
Intense.
This was definitely an action-packed volume, but it also gave us some rather big moments in terms of stuff that happened to the characters and whatnot. So yes, definitely looking forward to diving into all of this. But let's start talking about Megumi Fushiguro. So we saw him breaking into Dagon's, or however his name is supposed to be pronounced, the Ocean Spirit. He broke into the domain of Dagon in order to support the others who were already fighting in there, which was crucial, really. His presence there, if he hadn't shown up, then they would have all been defeated right there, probably. So that was a pretty badass moment for Fushiguro in this volume.
Yeah, just in the nick of time, for sure. And I like how his plan wasn't necessarily to do the tug-of-war thing with Dagon. It was, okay, I got this opening. Let's go, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Right.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I like that. I guess it's him playing a passive move in a way in order to defeat him later, kind of, once they're out of the domain. But yeah. Of course, he fought his dad, too. Or sort of his dad. I don't know how we look at this, because it seems to not clearly be 100% Toji. I guess we'll talk more about him later, but either way, he fought this guy.
Yeah, well, more like tried to survive against this guy. I mean, he fought, but
fair.
He was definitely like, okay, if I could just be this amount of injured, I could be healed and be okay.
Yeah, true.
Just don't die.
That was an interesting, quote unquote fight. Yeah, you're right. It was an interesting part though. And after that whole thing ended between him and Toji, Megumi seemed to have some thoughts afterward, about maybe realizing who that guy was, though maybe he didn't fully understand. I don't know. It was a bit unclear, but he definitely seemed to suspect something.
Right, because he thought about what Nanami and Naobito's reaction and how Naobito said Toji, right? I think.
Exactly.
So yeah, he had to have been a little suspicious maybe of who the guy actually was.
Yeah, but and then the whole situation is strange because obviously he realizes that the face turned back to the guy who was turned into Fushiguro there when he died, and and all so the whole situation is just strange to him, surely.
Yeah, he was ready to do something when his first plan didn't work against Toji, and he said, "Am I gonna have to use it here?" Something along those lines.
Oh yeah.
And it reminded me of his fight against that mole curse with the one that was actually a Sukuna finger.
Oh yeah.
And he was about to do that, but instead he mastered his domain expansion, if I remember correctly. And so now we get another hint of something is up, or he has some sort of wild card.
Yeah.
So very curious what that is, and I'm wondering, based on Toji's little flashback that he has, I'm wondering if it is some sort of inherited technique, a very rare one at that.
Oh yeah.
And maybe one that Sukuna knows about, and that's why Sukuna is just so interested in Megumi, maybe.
For sure, yes. I like all of that. That seems like it makes a lot of sense. So it adds up with what we know. Yeah. Interesting. Man, now I'm also really curious about what that could be.
Right? I mean, I feel like you tease it this much, you gotta deliver in some way.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Right. It's got to be some inherited Zenin ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was incredibly beaten up there, and before he got really a chance to do anything else, he was attacked by side ponytails.
Bruh. Why now?
Which, yeah.
Go home.
Like, I thought this guy was done. Apparently, he wasn't.
No, Nanami didn't beat him hard enough. Come on, Nanami.
So, yeah. And, yeah, it just abruptly cuts away from that. So, we don't know more than that right now. But, yeah.
It would be interesting if this would be the trigger for Megumi to activate his, that technique that he's been hiding.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, maybe he uses it and ends up killing the side ponytail guy.
Yeah.
So maybe that could make sense, but
it could. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a very worthy opponent, in my opinion.
I mean, he is and he isn't. Like, I get what you mean because he's kind of like a silly bloke, or
And he's kind of a scrub at this point compared to the other enemy figures that we have. I mean, Nanami beat the crap out of him.
True.
I don't know how he's still alive, but he is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess the fact that he survived all those hits by Nanami kind of says something about him.
Fair.
Plus, also the way we saw him kick Nobara's ass last time, like, that was quite intense.
True. That was pretty intense.
So, I don't know. But also, I guess the fact that Megumi is already really beaten up from the fight that he just had. I guess with that, I definitely could see him resorting to whatever that secret powers, that power of his might be.
Right. Yeah.
But is there anything else on Megumi?
No.
And then let's talk about Papaguro, Toji, this resurrection of him. Anyway,
his entrance was so good.
Yes, yeah, that was such a fun twist. How he came in through the hole when they were all about to escape.
And it's the way it was drawn. It's kind of majestic but disturbing, and all sorts of feelings was happening at that point. Who the heck is this guy? Then Naobito immediately recognizes him. He's like, oh crap, we're all gonna die.
And it was so fun that he came in, that he appeared in that scene specifically, where we already had Megumi, Maki, and Naobito present. And those three specifically having some kind of tie to this guy, in various ways. I thought that was really interesting how those three characters specifically got to meet him there.
Yep, good point.
And it's also explained that he's apparently kind of instinctively going after the strongest around. And
a puppet of carnage.
Precisely. So, like, with that, I feel like he isn't 100% necessarily himself, like the way he was when he lived, because he may not have gone after just any strong opponents that mindlessly before in that same way.
I think that Toji's body is acting off of instincts alone.
Yes.
Still with his incredible strength and abilities, but just pure, I gotta fight the strongest thing and take it out.
Yeah.
Kind of mindset. I think at the very end, he snaps back to himself, with some understanding of who he is, but very briefly.
Precisely.
Kind of similar to how he first appears in the story when the granny lady was still alive. I think if the granny lady hadn't died, Toji didn't kill her, he could have maintained the consciousness that he had at the end. But because she was gone, the body just went straight up instinct only. At least that's how I feel it.
That's a fair speculation. Yeah, it could be.
Because they do mention the connection between the curse user, lady, granny lady, and that the curse should have, or the curse spell, whatever you call it, should have died or died out when she died. But because Toji is Toji, his body's instincts just kept fighting, kept going.
Yeah. It was interesting how it worked like that, all because he doesn't use or have any cursed energy and whatnot.
Right.
It was pretty cool. And so it made sense that he would go after Dagon immediately, since that was clearly an incredibly strong curse, and really very impressively take him out all by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. His use of Playful Cloud was oh man, so cool. I thought Maki looked really cool whenever she used that. I mean, she did.
Yeah.
But Toji's like, step aside. Let me show you how it's really done. He like rubs it together to make it super sharp. But what in the world?
That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And then the interesting part, once he had defeated Dagon, he didn't go after either of the two Grade 1 sorcerers, but he went after Megumi.
Yeah.
Implying that Megumi is supposedly stronger than Nanami and Naobito. On a technical level, or I guess, he doesn't have the same grade level, but he may actually be more powerful, supposedly.
Yeah, is he truly the strongest in that group? Oh, yeah. I mean, you could make the argument that it was his paternal instincts that
I suppose
it attracted him to Megumi. Yeah. But I am kind of with you, I think, in thinking that Megumi, instinctually for Toji, Megumi must have been the strongest in the group.
Right.
Granted, I think that may be latent power.
That's fair.
Well, and it could have something to do with the secret move that he has hidden. Maybe that it's so powerful that it even surpasses everybody else in that group. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very interesting either way.
Yeah, definitely.
So during their fight, Megumi compares Toji to Sukuna, at least in the speed category.
Yeah.
So it just makes me wonder who would win. I mean, surely it would be Sukuna, I would think, because obviously Gojo beat Toji in the end, but I don't know. It's very interesting, especially when you have a similar speed as Sukuna. I can only imagine the strength is similar as well. Would it be crazy? Maybe I should have saved this for predictions. I'll say this for predictions.
Okay, then.
I just came up with it right now, but...
All right, don't forget about it. Well, interestingly, during the fight, Toji's fight with Megumi, he did, as we were talking about, he remembered the whole thing, or that, at least that part that we saw, that memory came to him.
Yeah.
And upon learning that his son still uses the Fushiguro name, Toji killed himself. It looked like, that's what he did, right?
Stabbed himself in the head.
At first, I was a little confused as to why he did it, but I figured that it was kind of along the lines that we were talking about before, how he got a better level of control over himself temporarily right there because of the memory, most likely. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know, let's say it was just like a temporary and like a little window of control that he had, and like maybe he could feel that like this is only a temporary thing. I can control myself right now, but I won't be able to in a couple seconds or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I guess he felt like that he didn't want to kill his son, so the only way to prevent himself from doing that would be to kill himself, because he was, I guess, programmed to instinctively kill whoever was the strongest, and right now that was his own son. So killing himself voluntarily like that would have probably been for that reason, I think.
I think that's a great explanation. I still think it's a shame that they weren't really to have any sort of conversation besides learning the name, but I guess you can't reveal everything all at once.
Fair. Yeah.
Still, Toji came and then he left as quickly as he came.
Yeah, he really did.
I mean, wouldn't it have been cool if somehow Sukuna and this possessed Toji body would have gone after each other, maybe? But would that have left in Megumi's death? I don't know. Although, what if Sukuna would have like protected Megumi,
against
Toji's rampage, because Sukuna is so interested in him? But
right,
whatever. That's pointless. Not even speculation. Wishes. It is what it is. But I agree with you that he must have done it to save his son in a way. Don't tell me he never did anything for my son.
Wow. Yeah. But is there anything else on Toji?
Just re-emphasizing the fact that he's like Maki but fully realized.
Precisely. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was actually said in a previous volume or not about Toji, especially since Toji was in the past.
Uh-huh.
But I think we said something like that.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was implied a little bit through a previous volume, and that made us talk about it. So it was nice to see it kind of confirmed here in a way, or well, at least from one character
speculated.
who kind of felt that way about it. Yeah.
It makes me really interested to see where Maki could go if she could end up being like this. But I say that, and we really don't know if she's even alive. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say there.
Cool. Very well. Then let's move on to talk a little bit about Yuji Itadori next. This boy was fed a lot of Sukuna fingers in this volume. Like, at least 11 new fingers was added to, the amount of ones that he had consumed, bringing the total up to at least 15. And...
oh, man.
And I'm actually thinking that the twins only fed him a single finger before they were stopped. Like, I don't think they had fed him more than one. Because
I feel like that's a safe bet too.
Right. And like my main reason for thinking that, well, for one, they seem to be struggling with feeding him the fingers, which that alone kind of makes it seem less likely that it would have been multiple. But also that Sukuna was willing to give them one finger's worth of time, if that was like him repaying them for the one finger they fed him,
Right, and he even says that because they offer one finger if Sukuna was to do what they asked, and he said, "Yeah, you think 2 fingers is enough or whatever?"
Yeah, like a finger or 2 or something like that. He said.
Yeah.
But yeah, precisely. So those things kind of make me feel like it was just one. Obviously, we can't know for sure, but I think I am choosing to think that the total amount of consumed fingers for Yuji currently is exactly 15, even though we don't know. It may be more, but I'm thinking 15 is a safe bet. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure from this point forward they'll be like, "Oh, I've eaten 15 fingers." Like, I think that'll be the standard.
So yeah, like we went from 4 to 15 in a single volume, or kind of a single chapter. Woo! I feel like so it's pretty insane. Because before this volume, for 12 whole volumes he had only consumed 4, and now 11 new ones added here. So yeah, that's 3/4 of them consumed.
I'm kind of glad it's not a slow burn, it's not the typical defeat this boss, get a finger, move on to next boss, get a finger,
Yeah, because it did kind of feel like that up until now.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Sort of. But yes, no, we're getting up there, and quite quickly. But Yuji himself, I mean, he wasn't exactly conscious at all in this volume.
No,
he was asleep, and then Sukuna took over. So yeah, we didn't actually see anything actually from Yuji, but I thought it was interesting about the fingers consumed and whatnot.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how long Yuji's going to be out for.
Precisely,
because eventually he'll gain control again.
Mm-hmm.
But how much control does Sukuna have with 15 fingers worth of, I guess, pent up energy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could it be the entire arc?
I mean, hey, I'd be down for that. At the very least, I feel like the next volume he's probably gonna be Sukuna for maybe all of it.
Yeah.
At least.
I'm getting that same feeling.
Mm-hmm. I guess moving on to talk a little bit further about Sukuna, if there's anything more on him specifically.
Yeah.
Yes, he has awoken, and as we said, we do expect him to stick around for quite a while, or at least, maybe the next volume and maybe more.
I mean, look, this guy is certainly the personification of evil.
Yes.
But every time he's there, it's just so much fun to me, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it was terrible. He was killing, like he killed Nadeko and Mimiko and everything. Like, that was terrible. But
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like his interaction with Jogo and just how he's toying with all the humans, it's just so evil and fun, and
Uh-huh.
he's kind of like, to me, one of the best characters in this story, and a great antagonist villain, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also appreciate the yeah, or okay, well, somewhat comedic evilness
Yeah.
of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is fun for sure.
I mean, it's so arrogant, so cocky. It's the exact opposite of Gojo. Well, no, not the exact opposite. It is. They're very similar in how confident they are in their abilities.
Yeah.
But one is benevolent and the one is malevolent.
Precisely.
So it's it's very great, I love it.
Hell
Look,
yeah.
he at this point Sukuna doesn't have the backstory yet. I mean I have a feeling that we'll get that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But even without that, I still find him a fascinating character to have it in the back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sukuna gonna come out of here out of nowhere
Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
something? So yeah. But
Right.
anyway, I'm really excited to see what happens in this arc with him, and I have predictions on that. But I just want to say a couple things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he still has his own plans. It seems like he's not going with the cursed spirits exactly what they want. But he'll kill all the humans if Joko can land a hit on him, which leads to the crazy fighting that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very curious to know what those plans are. That's part of the mystery about him.
For sure. Yeah, because I feel like that's something that sure I am interested to learn more about him as a character and in terms of his backstory, but he is at this point anyway. Like he is like his personality is just so fun that I'm getting so much enjoyment out of him even without knowing anything actually about him.
Yeah.
So that is really funny.
I totally agree.
And his and I thought his I guess reintroduction or his awakening in this volume, when how he killed the twins, it was not surprising given how they really tried to use him. So like his actions made sense kind of there, and like they kind of had it coming, I suppose. uh, but it was so brutal, and I really liked that well, yeah, as I said, like reintroduction, kind of reestablishing his character again, kind of as
right.
what he is. This is what he is. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was reading it, when they were asking for help, I honestly almost thought that he would do it. It's like, sure, I could do that.
That's yeah,
kind of a thing.
and I think he would have if they hadn't added that later part. Like we know where there's another finger, will tell you if you do it. If they hadn't added that, if they had just stayed quiet and just the one request, like, can you kill the ghetto imposter, then maybe he would have.
Maybe, yeah, maybe they just went too far.
But the way they kind of dragged it out and kind of added on this kind of pressure thing or blackmail thing or whatever you want to say, not blackmail, but either way, like how they had added that to it, I think that really rubbed Sukuna the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah, but I like how in character that is, and how unique of a I guess aspect, in my opinion, it is. But yeah, killing people, great. Last thing I have on him is just what is his curse technique?
Yeah. Yeah, Jogo seems confused about that.
Right. I have some guesses I'll save for predictions, but it's not really something that I had thought about before.
Yeah.
About what it could be. Maybe it was mentioned when they kind of briefly told the history of Sukuna. Maybe they mentioned like the slashing or something.
Maybe I can't remember though.
It's been so long. But either way, that's not the case apparently.
Yeah.
So very interested to see.
Absolutely. Well then, moving on to some other characters. A bit on Dagon. His domain seems to be the same place where we've seen the villains hang out and talk in the past.
Yeah.
At least definitely looked like it. So it's interesting to know that that's where they were, supposedly. Too bad they can't go back there or continue hanging out there anymore on that beach now that Dagon has been exorcised.
Yeah.
But
Dagon's dead.
But that was still nice. It was a pretty domain, all things considered.
Yeah, and using all of the life that's in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
Definitely.
I mean, all things considered, he seemed to be pretty powerful.
Yeah, really.
Then again, when Jogo came around, all the Jujutsu sorcerers were like, "Oh crap, this guy's on another level." So
true.
You think about that. Well, I'll save that for Jogo talk. Never mind.
Okay. Well, actually, or do you have much more on Dagon? Because otherwise, we could just move straight.
Actually, on to I don't.
All right, then. All right, then continue where you were on Jogo.
Jogo, yeah. So on another level compared to Dagon, but Gojo kind of swat him away like a fly. The difference in strength is phenomenal. And obviously Sukuna's just having a blast with him, just toying with him, really.
Totally.
So
yeah.
I honestly didn't think Jogo was that strong.
Me neither.
Compared to other Jujutsu sorcerers. But in reality, this guy is seriously strong.
Insane. Yeah, exactly. It's really
just
kind
that Gojo and Sukuna.
No, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, those two characters, Jogo and Sukuna. Oh, sorry, Gojo and Sukuna, seem to be the only ones that kind of outmatch him, at least clearly out of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Jogo is he's crazy, and as I think I've been mentioning, at least in the last volume or so, like he's been growing for me as a villain. Like, as I think I admire his kind of dedication to the original cause, and kind of the way he's been depicted has just appealed to me a lot as a villainous character. And now he has lost two close comrades, maybe his two closest comrades even, in the same night. So he's mad. And did he just incinerate Nanami, Maki, and Naobito just like that?
Bro,
like, did he just actually like? Did that happen?
Okay, so we've had a couple moments in this arc where we think, oh, the person's dead.
Yeah.
Or could be dead, but they're actually still alive.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm. So I can see that happening with these three. I did predict Nanami would die.
Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna kill off Nanami, it has to be more satisfying than that. It can't just be burnt and then gone.
You'd think so, yeah.
I say that, and watch the author Akutami just totally do his own thing. But I cannot sit here and believe Maki is dead.
I know.
There's no way, especially. This is kind of spoilers, but the fact that people are still talking about her, and well, like we had a comment on YouTube. Thanks for commenting, by the way. We had a comment saying that the whole Toji and Maki thing will be explained, and it hasn't been explained yet. So
yeah.
I guess you could do that poster death.
You could. Guess. I mean, yeah, I think that's entirely possible, but
but no, you can't. No.
And I know you definitely don't want to believe that she is dead. I know.
No, I don't want to believe it.
Of course you don't.
I refuse.
But I mean, yeah.
That's like two of my favorite characters, Nanami and Maki, dying in one go. Like, what? No.
Yeah, it would be incredibly tragic and brutal and just awful if they actually were dead.
Yeah.
And as you said, based on what we've seen in this arc specifically, characters who have supposedly seemingly died didn't actually die. Like we've had two examples of that, two people surviving even though they seemed to die. So with that in mind, it feels pretty good, I guess. Like there's a decent chance they may have survived this, or somehow that they will survive at the very least. But we have also had some quick and surprising deaths in the past of the series before.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like with that in mind, I'm definitely not like taking that possibility out entirely. So yeah, I'm torn for sure, and I'm worried. And I wonder how ballsy is Akutami going to be about this. Guess we'll see.
Agreed. Yeah. Last thing about Jogo that I have is he mentions meeting again in 100 years, the wasteland. Does that ring a bell to you at all?
Nah, it just sounded like some poetic bullshit. I'm sorry.
I mean, it could be. Now I don't know if in 100 years that's when, like, if their plan comes to fruition, it'll take 100 years to reach their goal, and maybe to create a wasteland. I don't know if I thought they just wanted to create a world for curses that because they are the true humans now.
Yeah, right.
That's what they believe. But I don't know. Wondering if that'll play any sort of part in the future at all. But again, that's 100 years. We're not going to have 100-year time skip. I'm calling it right now. That's not going to happen.
Wow, I can't believe you would make that call.
I'm gutsy, man.
Wow.
I would go there. But yeah, that's all I have in Jogo.
Right. Well, then let's talk a bit about Atsuya Kusakabe, the gentleman on the cover of this volume.
Oh, that's him! Oh!
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't figure out who it was.
Oh.
I was like, well, maybe we'll find out, but that's him. Okay.
I feel like it's got to be. He's wearing that jacket and he's wielding the sword and whatnot.
The sword and yeah. Makes sense.
Either way, based on what we'd heard about him before from Mei, I believe it was, he seems to be a really strong sorcerer.
Yeah.
But seeing the characters more up close in this volume, he's rather a coward, honestly.
Yeah, clever coward.
Yeah, precisely. Like making these really forced excuses to Panda about, in order to avoid a dangerous fight. It was pretty funny, but man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think of this guy yet. We obviously haven't had too much, but
I like him. I think the impression of trying to save himself, yeah, I mean, if you're supposed to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, you're supposed to help people, but I think that not everybody has the guts to risk their lives that way, and
I mean, yeah.
I guess I can kind of respect that, but I do think he's strong,
right,
and wants to make sure he puts himself in situations that he can win. But I mean, we really didn't get to see much of anything. No. Is he as strong as Jogo? Don't know. Hard to say.
It's really hard to say, because I wonder, does he fall into this trope, of characters being really cowardice but incredibly strong, and like, which would make their fear feel unwarranted to us, but it just, I guess, creates this contrasting kind of clash within the character. I wonder, maybe.
That's what I think it is.
I'm kind of hoping for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely look forward to seeing him more in the next volume.
Agreed.
The last character that I have any notes for at all here is Naobito Zenin, who, as we talked about, may or may not be dead, but his arm was bitten off, and he just kept on fighting like it was nothing almost.
Dude's crazy, man.
He is. Or was. Or whatever.
Yeah, good question. Good point. I mean, it was funny to hear him talk about the frame rate stuff.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a comedic guy. And honestly, I thought he was super strong, but again, compared to Jogo and obviously Sukuna, it's just nothing. But he used a different technique in this volume, an anti-domain technique called Falling Blossom.
Oh yeah,
emotion.
True.
That was interesting to see. I don't know if that's gonna really play much of a role going forward. Probably just a a cool little thing he added.
Right. Yeah.
For the family, but yeah.
Yeah. But do you have any other characters you want to talk about?
Shoko's here. She really is a crucial element of the Jujutsu sorcerers. I mean, if the enemy knew about her, they'd automatically take her out because how crucial her ability is.
Yeah, she is really unique, and yeah,
she needs to be kept safe, and she needs to not smoke anymore either. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to her, and Gigi are still alive, and I'm sure she'll have a hand in saving a lot of other people. I just hope nothing bad happens to her. I really do.
Yeah, I wonder if this conversation that we saw between her and Yaga was supposed to be setting up something along those lines, like maybe she will end up in danger, actually. Even though she seems to think that she'll be just fine, but yeah. No, it would be exciting and thrilling to see her be in danger,
but I'd be worried.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that is all I have.
Alrighty, then moving into some predictions here. I think I only got one thing, so I'll just kick that one off right away. Being we obviously we got Megumi in a pretty bad spot now, being attacked by Side Ponytail, and I suppose as we did, I guess, touch on, it could be cool if he would resort to his special secret ability, whatever that is. That could be one way for him to deal with that situation. Alternatively, I think it could be cool to see Nobara swoop in and join forces with Megumi against Side Ponytail. For one, because we didn't see her at all this volume, so I'd like to see her again. But also because I think it would be a nice way for her to kind of get back at Side Ponytail, since he kind of kicked her ass last time.
Right.
So that's something I think would be neat to see her kind of come in there.
Agreed.
But yeah, I don't really have any other predictions because I already kind of mentioned the other things in the discussions.
Okay, here we go. So first, Maki survives. Number 1, Maki survives. Just establish that.
Okay.
Number 2, update on Mei and fake Geto fight. I think maybe we'll take a break what's happening and we'll get an update what's happening there.
That would be great. Yes.
Now to what I was thinking earlier and had to write it down.
Yes.
Could Toji be what Sukuna used to be? Now I know Sukuna has curse energy. Obviously, he's a curse at this point. But originally he was a curse user, like, a human, right? Like that's how the story goes.
I can't remember actually. It's been too long.
Bruh! It has been too long. I didn't look this up right now, but I'm pretty sure he used to be a human.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. Yeah, you're right.
And it would be crazy if Sukuna started out similar to Toji, but eventually reached a certain point that he was able to become a curse himself and then have curse energy. So that would explain the speed, the strength, and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Plus is immense curse energy. But
yeah,
just a thought, like almost becoming an empty vessel and then taking it all in.
Right.
That would be pretty wild.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, I mean, for sure, could make sense.
And maybe that could explain why Yuji, being a vessel for Sukuna, also had similar strength or powers.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just a thought I had, but here's the things I wrote before our discussion. So I think that Sukuna's technique could be mimicry of some kind. Because he automatically pulls out the flame just like Jogo in order to kind of have a fair fight or play around with him. So that kind of seems, I mean, unless he has something to do with flames, which could be interesting, but maybe it is more so that he is able to copy others' abilities after he sees them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, as you said, given that, but either it's that or it's just that he just has a big like a bunch of different abilities for some reason.
You think so?
And one of them just happens to be very similar to Jogo's. I don't know. No, but I think mimicry kind of thing or kind of copycat ability kind of makes sense. You're right. You're right.
I think it has to be one curse technique. One curse technique that's able to do a lot. Because it seems to imply that, oh, you don't know what my curse technique is? Well, I won't bore you with the details or however he puts it.
Yeah.
It seems like he has one specific one.
That is fair.
Yeah. But what that could be, I'm not sure. I mean, it really could be flames or something that I just don't know at the time. Because, I mean, obviously Akutami is really great coming up with cool new powers. So
for sure.
I'm excited to see what Sukuna's could be.
Somewhat spontaneous thought that I just had. What if his curse technique allows him to basically just cause any type of destruction or harm, kind of. So then, like slicing, like
that
not
would
like
be all encompassing.
Sharp things like knives and things, or whatever. As Gojo was mentioning, or Jogo. God damn it, I keep messing that up.
Yeah, I don't like how similar those two are.
Yeah, either way, those sorts of things, like sharp attacks as well as flame attacks, would definitely kind of fall into that category.
Yeah.
Just as an alternative, I suppose. But I like the mimicry ability as well.
I like that. Well, yeah, mimicry, but I think your idea of anything that causes damage or harm is extensive but also unique, you know? Like there's a lot you could do that I've never seen that, not that I recall before.
And actually, if it is that, I think it could make sense given okay, I guess I can't remember for sure how Sukuna, like, what he is. I guess he was a human initially, but then sort of became a curse somehow. Was that?
I think that was the
something along those lines. And then if the curse that he is, because all curses are born out of human fears of things, then maybe the curse that he is based on humans' fear of harm or pain or something like that, maybe.
Interesting.
And then and how that would correlate with his curse technique if this is the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a spontaneous little thought there.
I like spontaneous thoughts.
Yeah. Yes, me too. Good talk.
Either way, I think it's pretty safe that he used to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. I'm pretty sure that's what the backstory was, and that somehow he became a curse. But I think that curse technique, maybe he had it before, or if he was what Toji used to be, then I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of theories going around.
It's some good stuff.
Yeah. Another theory about Sukuna, but more so what's going to happen in the next volume, potentially, is that Sukuna will fight Mahito. I don't know. I have a feeling that Mahito is going to get something coming to him. And he's not going to like it. I really think he's too cocky right now, and I think Sukuna's going to put him in his place big time.
Ooh,
in my opinion.
That would be fun. That would be so much fun.
Right? Somewhat satisfying, too.
Definitely. Yes. And you know what? Something I'll say, just because I think it's fun, or partially just because I think it's fun to be contrasting with your predictions, is that I'll say Nanami, Maki, and Naobito are goners.
What?
I'll say it. I'll say it partially for that reason, but also because Jogo seemed so certain that he took them out.
True.
With those attacks that he did.
Yeah. I would be so devastated. I can't even accept the fact that, I mean, Naobito, whatever. I mean, yeah. Whatever. But I can't even accept the fact that Maki and Nanami are dead. Like, I would have to see, like, rip Nanami and Maki in their coffins, tombstone, all of that. I would have to see that before I would accept it. But man, if you are right, I will be sending you a strongly worded message. You're like, why me?
I mean, right. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I do. But
Fair.
at the same time, man.
Yeah, no, Joko is pretty certain.
Yeah, he is. And he is very strong too, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Either way, did you have any other predictions?
Yeah, a couple more. So, Choso,
yes.
Where's he gone and about? I think we won't see him until the next volume. So not this next volume, but the volume after that, because I think the story is going to focus elsewhere.
That's fair. Definitely.
I'd probably focus on eventually go to Mahito, like I mentioned.
Yes.
And then lastly, Yuji won't come back until that volume, the next volume, is my thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too soon. Maybe that's too late. I don't know. But my opinion is that next volume, because I really do think next volume is going to be heavy Sukuna focused.
For sure. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, those are my predictions. So
lovely.
Read them and weep.
We shall see who weeps by the end of this.
It better not be me, I swear. I mean, I could be wrong about things, but Maki's dead. Oh my gosh, I will be so mad.
Yeah, me too, probably. Well. Yeah, I suppose that's mostly it, unless there's any final words you want to share.
I want to ask you, in our most recent Kaiju number 8 discussion, you mentioned that while you're still enjoying it, you actually were liking Kaiju number 8 more, that's fine, that's your opinion. But I'm curious, are you not really enjoying the Shibuya arc? Because honestly, Shibuya, what we've read so far has just heightened everything for me. I'm loving it.
Yeah. No, I'm really enjoying this arc. Absolutely. I think it's one of, if not the strongest arc of this story so far. Absolutely. I just happen to, so yes. I don't want anyone to misunderstand me. I'm really enjoying Jujutsu Kaisen. I really definitely am.
Right.
However, I find myself enjoying Kaiju number 8 a little bit more.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's just that.
That's that. End of discussion.
They are rather even, I think, in my mind. But yeah, I would put Kaiju slightly above.
I can't go there. I can't even say even, in my opinion. But
fair enough.
Yeah, to each their own.
For sure. But yeah, I hope everyone else who's reading this, who've probably read way further than us, I hope you're all enjoying this too, and I hope the anime is enjoyable at this point when this episode releases. And
well, it is on break right now.
That's true. As of this recording, it is on break. That's true. But yeah, seeing the Shibuya arc will be amazing in the anime once we get to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yes. So I hope it's a blast. But by the time this episode releases, I'm guessing the Shibuya arc should have already begun at least a little bit. So
yeah, it should. Yeah.
So that'll be awesome. I suppose that's all for this week, though.
Yep.
Then, if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel, Umami Manga, on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 14. Bye-bye!
See you later! Yep.